Hello, this is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald, welcoming you to AV Plus, the podcast for the commercial AV integration industry. We have a great show for you today, a really newsy show for you today. One of the hottest acquisitions. It's something that really has been the talk of AV circles in the last couple of weeks. We have the executives who made it happen: John Laughlin, CEO and President of CTI; Angela Nolan, VP of System Integration and Control Room Subject Matter Expert with CTI, formerly, of course, CEO of Vistacom. They're here with us today. They're going to be talking about everything to do with why this was such a happy marriage, why it's a really exciting future for CTI and the team members from Vistacom. It's all coming your way right now on AV Plus. John, Angela, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate you taking some time to chat with Commercial Integrator and me, especially when, as I say, there's a whole lot clearly going on with CTI these days.
Really appreciate it, Dan. I appreciate the invite. I love getting to tell the story, and working with Angela is pretty damn awesome too. So thanks for bringing me.
And I second that. Thank you, Dan, for having us on. Really excited about this new chapter and working with John and his team at CTI.
It really is an exciting chapter, and I don't think I'm overstating it when I say, on social media, the AV Tweeps community, the AV industry stakeholders are really taking notice. This is one of the most impactful acquisitions that we've seen in recent months, in several months, quite honestly. I'd like to know a little bit of the background information about it, about how CTI's acquisition of Vistacom came to be. What kind of sparked the initial interest, when conversations began? Was this a long process, like months, years? How did this all come together?
Angela, do you want to take a swing at that, or do you want me to take first swing?
I'll take first swing, and then you can add what you want. Since I made the first phone call and foray into having discussions with John, it actually for us was a very quick process. It's my initial conversations with John started in the September-October timeframe, and it very quickly progressed from there with both of our teams getting involved in the discussions and seeing if this was something that was advantageous for both parties.
And John, from your point of view?
Well, for me, it was really easy. Like Angela reaching out to me to discuss this possible opportunity was a real honor that she chose CTI and chose me, and I really appreciated that. From the bottom of my heart. I would say that Angela and I have been friends, business friends for quite some time through our PS&I organization. She's also, very visible at NSCA. And Angela has been one of those people that I've, looked up to and been trying to learn from for many, many years. So the opportunity to put this deal together, that was fantastic for us. Angela and her family made it really easy, and CTI couldn't be much more excited about it.
Well, I know that acquiring integration businesses, expanding office footprints is nothing at all new for CTI, John, of course, dating back to your first acquisition, which I believe was in 2001. I'd like to know more about how CTI goes about making acquisitions, how you keep the company's DNA, its team spirit, its existing strengths intact. Because, of course, when you're bringing on an organization, you're doing it because it has a lot of merit in and of itself. So you're not going to look to homogenize everything, I assume. You're probably looking to keep some of that DNA and team spirit and bring it into the CTI fold. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, you're 100% correct, and your question's really strong, right? They're in a lot. That's where the challenge exists. So CTI in general, you kind of got to know this first. CTI in general is a culture first company. It's a people first, employee first company. We're trying to educate our staff, create an environment where they can be as happy as they can possibly be, create an environment where choosing to work at CTI just feels like the right decision for the people that, fit our culture and our environment. That way, when they go, we send them out to touch our customers and take care of our customers, they get there well equipped with a great attitude, and they can provide a customer experience that's just, superior to much of our competition. After that, policy and procedure and process trickles out the other side, profit trickles out the other side, and that all works in that particular. The first thing we do is we bring our one-page strategic plan to the new organization that's becoming a part of CTI, and we explain, this is the culture, this is what it's like to work at CTI, this is the decision-making process, and we're going to allow you a tremendous amount of freedom to go make those decisions, but you got to understand the culture. Now we get excited on the other side of it, because the talent that comes through an acquisition, especially one like Vistacom, the new people that we get to meet, the new customers we get to meet, the new industries that we're now a significant part of, we blend all of those things together, and then coming out the other side is just the growth and the health of CTI. That's the strategy. Sometimes it's more challenging than others. This time it was pretty easy. The individuals at Vistacom already had tremendous culture. They were already really good at what they did. So blending the two together has come together faster and more efficient than normal.
And Angela, of course, having overseen a 70-year-old family business, an Integrator of the Year honoree, I should certainly mention, I know you, like CTI, were a very culture-forward organization. Culture really suffused Vistacom. It was not simply a place to work. It was kind of a cause to be part of, is how I kind of perceived it. When I would go to Tech Expo, for example, it really seemed like everyone was behind the cause. So do you align with John in that way, the idea of being a culture-first organization, and what makes CTI so appealing in that regard to you?
Absolutely. One of the things that was forefront in our decision-making process when my partner Jim Ferlino and I were looking at potentially finding someone for an acquisition was a culture fit. And we have a very family oriented type culture in our organization, and it is very unique and customer centric, employee centric. And the fit and the feel that I got in all the years that I've dealt with and been part of business meetings and things with John and his team, I really saw a very similar fit there in the type of culture and organization that they have. So was really excited, and it was a really important part of our decision making for what organization was the right fit for Vistacom's next chapter, and CTI checked all the boxes there.
So I definitely understand how and why CTI checked all the boxes, as you say, Angela. I'm curious, though, why this was the right time for Vistacom to be acquired. Did Vistacom leadership, did you have a plan in mind or a strategy that included being part of a larger organization? Why now, as opposed to 5 years in the past, 5 years in the future? Why now?
So it's a really great question. As you said, we were Integrator of the Year last year. We've gone through several significant growth years over the last 5 years. And we were currently last year working on our 3 to 5 year strategic plan moving forward. And we were working on that with our executive team and with some outside business board members as well. And as we were mapping out a 3 to 5 year expansion plan, we really saw that we needed some significant growth in order to hit some of the targets that we wanted to hit, because we had reached a plateau of how large we could get within our current structure physically in our location in Allentown and with the resources that we had regionally. And also infrastructure on our software and some of our other processes and procedures were really all maxed out at the growth level that we were at. And so as we were putting together our strategic plan, Jim and I kind of looked at it and we said, well, we can do one of two things. We could really invest heavily over the next 3 to 5 years to put in infrastructure for new physical locations across the country, new software, new processes, recruiting for new resources and employees, or we could look for a potential fit for an acquisition to really jumpstart that next step. And personally, Jim and I we're getting up there a little bit in age, and the decision revolved a little bit around the fact that, in 3 to 5 years, we wanted to make sure that we had the energy and effort to give to the company at this point in our lives to be able to do that responsibly for our employees. And when we looked at CTI and their model and where they wanted to go with certain specialties that we had, the control room, which is a core of our growth, some things that we do in the healthcare technology as well, had great synergies to the things that we were doing. And so the cultural synergies, the technology synergies, the footprint that they had in the country, everything seemed to align to start the discussions. And then from there, we were able to make it happen and come up with a plan that really, I think, worked perfectly for us. I think it's a great opportunity for our employees for growth. And I think it'll be great for the CTI team as well.
Well, you mentioned, Angela, your employees, the CTI team. John, I know there are probably some people wondering about existing Vistacom team members. My understanding is CTI hired approximately 90 employees out of the Vistacom acquisition. Why was retaining those core team members so important?
Well, I believe in this industry, some people look at an acquisition as an opportunity to acquire more revenue, which is true, to acquire, assets on a balance sheet, which is true. But for me and for CTI, we don't care very much about that. The assets in particular, we could buy them if we wanted to. What we do care a tremendous amount about is the team, is the employees, is the personnel. Because if the personnel comes aboard CTI and fits our culture and sees us as an opportunity and an opportunity to grow, and those employees take advantage of our educational systems, which we're very good at, then those individuals are the ones that maintain those revenue streams. They maintain those customer relations. And it's the people that we're actually acquiring. It's the people that we're excited about. We certainly have a CFO and accounting department that go through the balance sheet and all the details and all the assets. But for me, I sat down with Angela and some of her team members, and we worked through the org chart for several days, making sure that we really knew who the people were that were coming aboard to CTI, and we had a general idea how to set them up for success. So for us, the acquisition is all about finding amazing people and adding them to the CTI team, and retaining as many of them as you possibly can is crucial to the success of these partnerships.
Well, as you said, John, you're really focused on the people, you're focused on the culture, you're focused on the fit. But of course, we also have to think about presumably Vistacom's physical footprint in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'd like to know how that fits into CTI's expansion strategy from a geographical standpoint. Do you anticipate doing a lot of business in Pennsylvania, for example, elsewhere in the Northeast corridor? Is that part of the calculation here?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely strengthens us in the Northeast corridor, which fits on the map and fits on our strategic plan really, really well. It jumped us into an environment where we're physically pretty strong in that corridor the day that Vistacom came aboard. So that part was fantastic. We are continuing to grow. We've been growing for 30 years. We just celebrated 35 years. I've been running the company for about 30. And we've been growing that entire time period. I would anticipate that will continue. Our customers have asked us to continue to grow. Our staff is of the environment that wants to continue to grow. And I would anticipate that you'll see more of that in months to come, certainly in years to come. Pennsylvania, we were already doing projects in the Pennsylvania market, but now we'll be able to execute them faster and more efficiently. And we love the customer base, and we love what Vistacom was doing in that market. Vistacom was more of a national reach anyways, but they're certainly strong in the Pennsylvania market. We not only anticipate that we will maintain that strength, but through this partnership, we'll be able to grow in the Pennsylvania area and in the Northeast corridor.
Well, Angela, to your point from a few moments ago, I know Vistacom very well known for its strength in designing, integrating, standing up control rooms, network operations center. It's just such a core competency of your team and you. So I'm curious how big a part that strength played in CTI's acquisition decision. Will command and control be a big part of CTI's future, John? Is it a growing part of AV broadly? I mean, I'm hearing more about command and control lately than I have in prior years. Is that just an auspicious sign that not only for CTI, but for broadly the industry, command and control is going to be a big part of our collective future?
Yeah, it'll be a key part of CTI. There's no question. It's one of the things that we were incredibly excited about CTI's command and control division was actually quite strong in the first place, but it primarily in the government environment, and most of the strength of our command and control is on projects that we couldn't tell you about anyways. Vistacom not only has that strength, but they had the focus, they had the marketing, they had the they just had more of a power in the conversation. So combining the talents together, one plus one will equal 3, 4, or 5. So we're really excited about what Vistacom brings to the table, and we're absolutely focused on growing that part of our business.
And Angela, from your point of view, having such expertise in the control room space, again, that is something Vistacom very well known for. Do you want to just take a moment to talk about how that is kind of a singular competency in commercial AV? It's not just like a conference room. It's not just like an education classroom. It's certainly not just like a bar or a restaurant. You want to talk about kind of the unique DNA that is command and control and how Vistacom built up the strength that it has?
Sure. It is very unique, very different skill sets, which is why we spent the last 10 years developing dedicated personnel who focused solely on that market. Technically, there are nuances and differences. Sure, there's things that are the same. You know, a video wall can be built in a lobby or a marketing area, as well as it can be built in a control room. But the way that the processing and the workflow happens and the management and security of the data that's happening there is so critical. Those are mission critical environments, 24/7 spaces. So understanding the ergonomics and the workflow within that environment and their unique protocols and security that's required in those environments is really critical when you're deploying and designing for those spaces. And so, you know, it's important that you don't try and fit a standard AV product into that environment when you are running mission critical 24/7. There are very special products and solutions that fit within that market. Our team has spent the last 10 years developing certifications and training within that industry, working with consultants and organizations within the control room and mission critical space to understand how that space works. And it's really important that you get it right for your clients. There's, you know, when there's an emergency out there, when there's, you know, a utility grid goes down, when there's a huge snowstorm and, you know, the transportation is stopped across the board, or there's a, God forbid, some kind of terrorism emergency, you want to make sure that your equipment is supporting those decisions and not hindering those decisions to be made. So we're really proud that we've spent a lot of time trying to make sure that we understand and can deploy in those environments.
And now your team and you are bringing all of that expertise to complement CTI's existing strength in that mission critical command and control segment. So that's really exciting. I'd like to know, just from the customer's point of view, from the client's point of view, what this means. We talked about, for example, the Vistacom team. Now let's talk about Vistacom and its customers. If they're learning about this acquisition, thinking, what is this going to mean for me? What is this going to mean for how I'm touched essentially by this organization? My projects are touched by this organization. How would you answer that question? I'd love to hear from both of you about that.
Sure, I can start. So I would say that I'm very excited for our customers. First and foremost, their team that they worked with at Vistacom is going to remain intact. So the team that they're used to working with and that they've become comfortable with is going to continue to be part of their team under the new CTI umbrella. One of the things that we're excited and we've been talking to our customers about is the fact that this expands our abilities to support and service our clients. They have a national footprint. Some of our clients have a national footprint and want more services and support than we've been able to comfortably provide in the past because we were stretched a bit thin with the resources we had. They actually have some new things that we could not provide for our clients. We, under Vistacom, did not do rental and staging. We didn't do broadcast, things like that. So really looking forward to that, to be able to have those offerings for our clients. And we've been telling the story that I truly believe in, which is that, the core of CTI is going to provide the same quality and commitment to the clients that they received under Vistacom. And so it's a positive across the board, I think, for our clients.
And from your perspective, John?
It's hard to build off that. That was really good. I think I would say ditto to most of it. At the end of the day, the Vistacom team is intact. So all of the things that the customer loved about Vistacom, they still have that. And we just bring a bigger footprint and some different skills, and we'll be able to share them with their customers as well. And if it's a good fit for their customers, they can take advantage of those new skills and those new offerings. And if they want to keep it exactly the way it used to be, they're going to have those people available to them as well. So either way, it should be a good experience for the customer transition.
So I alluded earlier to CTI's successful history of acquisition going back something like 23 years, give or take. I think you have about 35 locations now. Is the company still in growth mode, in expansion mode, John? Are you still looking for attractive targets for potential acquisition? And if so, I'm curious what your checklist is. What attractive characteristics might a company have that would kind of get your attention, your teams and your attention, and say, they may be an asset to CTI?
So part of that question is easy. We're a little bit opportunistic on that issue. We do have growth plans in our future. Our 3-year strategic, our average growth is more than 20% a year on a consistent basis for 30 consecutive years. And in order to maintain growth in that 20% environment, acquisition has to be a part of the formula. And to say that it has to be done each and every year, or you have to have X amount of revenue and acquisitions, we don't really look at it that way. We're much more opportunistic. We're looking for companies that would be a good fit. We're looking for companies that are culture first. We're looking for companies that look at what CTI has to offer to their staff and their personnel, whether it be education or opportunity, and say, man, would that be a really good fit for our team as well? And we start with that culture first strategy. Do we believe that these individuals would fit at CTI? And if we get over that hurdle, then we start looking at things like what is their customer base? What are they providing to them? Do they do it at a healthy and fair margin? Things like that. But it starts with people. Do we believe they'd be a good fit at CTI, and do we believe both parties would benefit from it?
Well, is there anything else, John, that you would like to add, Angela, that you would like to add? As I say, this has been something that's been all over LinkedIn, Twitter, et cetera. It's really big news, and I would love to give you the opportunity to answer any questions you may have heard, or address any misconceptions you may have seen out there, or just talk about why it is such a strong marriage and why your customers and broadly the industry should be excited about this.
Well, for me, it's really simple. It makes CTI stronger, and any opportunity to make CTI stronger is something that we welcome. But what the real thing is, I just really want to thank Angela and her family. They could have sold to anybody. They were highly desired by everybody, and they chose us. And I feel really honored that they chose us. And I really appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you, Angela, and the entire Ferlino family. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. And we're very excited and think we've made a great decision on what we did. As I told my team when we announced it, and John and his team came in, was, under the Vistacom umbrella, very proud of what we've done as a company, the quality of the work, the things that we've done over the years. Very honored to have worked with our team and the people that we've had under Vistacom all these years, and very excited for what CTI is going to bring for the next steps. We absolutely think that this was the right fit for our company. It was really important for Jim and I to find a company that would take care of what we've built, not only from just the people and the customers and the culture. And really proud that we were able to find a company like CTI that we feel comfortable that's going to take it to the next level. So very excited.
And that's such an important note to close on, Angela, because as I said at the outset, I mean, you are an former integrator of the year for Commercial Integrator, 70 or so year family business, so much pride and passion, blood, sweat, and tears have gone into that organization to find the right steward to bring the entire, bring the team, bring the name to the next generation, is exciting. And thank you so much to you, Angela, and you, John, for taking an opportunity to tell us about it. Really inform your decision making and let us know about how this came together.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, thank you again so much, John Laughlin, who is CEO and president of CTI, as well as Angela Nolan, who is VP of System Integration and Control Room Subject Matter Expert with CTI, formerly, of course, CEO of Vistacom. Thank you so much for tuning into AV Plus, the podcast for the commercial AV integration industry. Please check back soon on commercialintegrator.com for another exciting edition of AV Plus. And please do go to commercialintegrator.com each and every day for more exciting breaking news coverage, just like the CTI and Vistacom acquisition. Until then, we'll see you soon.